500 prompts where we win. This is your friend James. Me culture. You know, it's great to have observations when you stop and think about stuff. You know, independence, freedom without God turns into me culture. Me culture is when the whole society centers around the individual. Now, this is not the same as general freedom. This is not the same as, you know, each person has their own plot of land and they can do what they'd like to do for life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness. That's not the same. Me culture is not the same as individual freedom. Me culture is not the same as, you know, you just pursuing your dreams and goals and leaving other people alone. See, the difference between me culture and independence and regular freedom is that independence and regular freedom leaves other people alone. Me culture actually does not leave other people alone. Me culture gets involved in other people's lives because me culture is without God, I now am the moral super authority in the area when it comes to my life and other people. See, with general religion and general freedom, you let the other person, if they don't want to be a part of something, they invite you to a party, you know, you let them, that's just it. Me culture is you use condemnation. Oh, you're not thinking about me. You don't love me. That's perverted. That's evil. And that's why parents need to teach their children not do that. Oh, you don't love me. I can't go to, you know, this, you know, Wendy's and get a Baconator because you don't love me. Well, that's a lie. You have to teach your children not to lie about that. Oh, you're not getting that because you're just selfish. No, that's a lie. But anyways, this is because it seems like they seem very similar, but they're not the same. Society and what society thinks both are quintessentially important to the functioning proper in life. For a family to work, each part has to work together. For a body to work, you know, cancer is confusion. That's what actually it is. You know, when something is not doing what the body can't work properly if the parts of the body are not in unison working together. And that's what a family is, a society, the family unit, not a tribal thing where everyone's like a bunch of animals. Even lions have enough sense to have a pride to where they're together and they're working together. Even ants have a queen, they're working together. In nature, we have they work with the animals, the groups work together, and humans are a societal group that works together. So what society is, what society thinks is still quintessentially important. If the majority of the people think it's wrong, first of all, you have a conscience every human has a conscience. So they're not able to pretend that, you know, they can make it whatever. They know in their heart whether it's right or wrong. She knows it's not right to slap her boyfriend. He knows it's not right to beat his wife. The kid knows it's not right to lie. Two people who aren't married, they know it's not right to have sex outside of marriage. They already know that. That's why they're hiding and doing it. It has nothing to do with society. We're not pigs. We're not animals. You know, we're not a bunch of chicken. There's not a bunch of chickens and there's one rooster. A bunch of cows and one bull. No, we're not like that. But anyways, what we have is these things are still very important. We have to have society for something to work together. If you're going to have a bunch of people, two teams come together to play sports, they still have to have rules that apply to everybody. And when it comes to freedom, someone is free to do what they want to do in the context of society. That's why there is no free murder. That's why God said that there's one rule for the Jew and one law for the same law for the stranger, for the home people and the stranger. So you don't change laws for people who are not part of the group if you're going to have a society. For a society, there's one group. That's why we have one set of immigration laws. You don't change it for other people just because you want to. You have to follow laws in order for things to work together, for a family to work together, for a band, for any group, for any company. There has to be rules and laws that everyone's agreeing to. So it's still important. We must remember this. And of course, with pride, knowledge, and self-awareness, when these things permeate a group of people, pride, knowledge, self-awareness, when God's not there to balance the thing out, when this permeates a group of people, they turn and focus on only what they want. This is very bad. This is very serious. Because when a child turns to just what they want, they don't concern themselves that their brother is trying to study for a test. They want to play. They want to play now. The girl doesn't care that the dude's trying to pass the bar exam. She wants to go to the cafe now. He doesn't care that the girl don't care for sports. He wants her to go to the football game. He doesn't, because when it becomes like that, they're only focused on what they want. They're not even concerned about the other person. Like someone who's, you know, if they're afraid of heights, they should pray and get over that. But it's literally, they're afraid of heights. But the woman wants to go on a date with her husband to the top of that big thing that goes really slow. You know, you can see the whole city and people enjoy stuff like that. But there's things like that where the person's not concerned about what the other person wants. The parent doesn't care what the kid wants. The Bible says hope deferred makes the heart sick. If the child really does want a bike and the parent's like, you don't need a bike. See, they're forgetting the focus. Listen, children have feelings too, just like you. Same thing with the parents. But when they do that, when pride, knowledge, and self-awareness focus, permeate any group of people, regardless, they're only concerned about what they want. That's why there was a lot of dissent about people getting those things, because me culture put one person's fears and desires over another person's freedom to choose. Now, when I say right to choose, I'm not talking about a right to kill the baby inside the womb. I'm not talking about that at all. I'm just talking about a right to choose, considering we had the, how many things do they do for flu every year, and how many millions of people around the world take it and don't take it. And you're not hollering and screaming. But you notice me culture started saying, do it for your grandma, do it for what's his name. Now, we've been dealing with the flu for who knows how long. And when until this past year did they start making you feel bad for that? How many kids take it, how many kids don't? See, this is interesting when you start seeing how it starts super, because when it's all about me, I just really don't care what you think. I don't care how you feel. You start superseding. Hey, listen, well, I'm not going to get into that. But what I'm saying is that when we talk about that, we're talking about someone's right to do something for themselves to make their decision. Those same people who's like, the same group, there are groups of people, I'm not even going to get into that because that's even worse. There's some other stuff. But what do we have? When you stop, when me culture sets in, then it's like, you have to violate your conscience so to do what I want you to do. That's not freedom. Freedom is not forcing someone to violate their conscience. Oh, religion doesn't matter. I want you to do this so I can supersede religion. Now these people are getting judged, and that's bad business. But listen, when like, I don't care about your religion, your conscience, you're concerned, doesn't care. I mean, that's like dragging someone to the top of a cliff who's afraid of heights. I'm going to have you go. See, this is when it comes to me culture, you don't even care about whether the person's afraid. If someone's afraid of something, you don't force them to do it. Listen, 3 things. Tolerance. This is the pillars of me culture. Tolerance. But it's just, you have to tolerate me. Tolerance means putting up with pain, by the way. So the people who started using the word knew exactly what they were talking about. Tolerance. But it's of my tolerance, you tolerate me. Tolerance of me. But of me, not you. I don't have to tolerate you. I don't have to put up with you want to have a nativity scene. I don't have to tolerate the nativity scene. But you have to tolerate my Santa Claus scene. Santa came from the saint, St. Nicholas, that 4th century Greek bishop. So, I mean, there you go with that. But tolerance, you have to tolerate me, but I don't have to tolerate you. This is where me culture, see, it's not without God, it's all about that. But it's great, you talk about tolerance, and you heard about that, tolerance, but they don't have to tolerate you. You have to sit there and, you can't use the road because they want to have a parade for chicken fighting. But then when you want to have a parade for, I was going to say bullfighting, but if you want to have a parade for Easter, you can't have the parade for Easter. They're not going to tolerate a parade for Easter, but they want to have their parade for chicken fighting. Acceptance. There's another pillar of the me culture. Acceptance. You have to accept how I decide to live. I come up, roll up into your house, and decide that I want to drink alcohol in front of your kids and take, smoke pot and, take, cocaine or whatever. You have to accept me and let me stay in your house, regardless of how you feel. You have to expose your children to my lifestyle or whatever because of my choices. You have to accept my personal choices because I want to do pot, but I don't have to accept your choices. You don't want me in the house because pot stinks up your house and you have to do stuff to clean the smell out because it makes the person nauseous or whatever. It makes them nauseous, but the pot smoker doesn't have to, care about that. The non-smoker has to accept it and be nauseous, nauseated, almost want to throw up or whatever, but the other person doesn't have to accept you feel nauseous about the smoke. See, that's me culture. See how it breaks up society? Society is when people work together. Acceptance, you have to accept my choices. I don't have to accept your choices. You want to pray? Well, I don't want you to pray. And I don't want to pray, so you have to accept the fact that I don't want to pray. But I don't have to accept the fact that you want to pray. That's wickedness, that's evil. You sit there talking just like that. What was that? My body, my choice? Before, it was the issue. It was like, we can do whatever we want to with our bodies. Well, of course, that didn't apply anyway because, we all know that that's not your body. But, in that particular context. But still, the same concept was I can do whatever I want to with my body, my body, my body, my body. And then, of course, it's like, that don't work if I want you to do something because I'm in fear. This is not good. This is not funny. Celebration. Here's the other pillar. There's tolerance, acceptance, and celebration. Celebration. You have to celebrate my lifestyle. I don't have to celebrate yours. That's really, really interesting. Have you ever stopped and thought about that? The man doesn't want to get married, but he wants to have a bunch of kids out of wedlock. Let's hope no one's planning this. I'm using this as an example. They want to do that. But instead of you telling them, no, you really oughtn't to do that. You ought not to put little children through that. Human beings who have to grow up and deal with the fact that their father's not home with them. You're not concerned about the fact that the child, when everyday Father's Day rolls around, little boy, little girl is like, where's my dad? Because, no. The kid is not supposed to feel bad about that. The kid's supposed to celebrate the fact that the father wants to have children out of wedlock. He wants to go do all this and have all these children. See? But so the children, instead of feeling bad, say, nah, Dad, I don't think you should be doing that. No, what are you talking about? You're supposed to celebrate me. I'm supposed to be a needful part of your life. We need to have men running around having children outside of wedlock. See, when you analyze it, that's when it becomes, listen, we thank the Lord for the gospel of Lord Jesus Christ, but if someone does not accept the Lord Jesus Christ, we don't force them to celebrate with us. You don't want to celebrate Christmas, the Mass of Christ, the birth of the living Lord King Jesus the Christ. We're not going to force you to celebrate it. That's not, but be different. Just like those other, imagine a communist country, they force the person to celebrate. You have to be there. When a person dies, you got to be there and you got to wail. There was one place where somebody died actually, and they were actually, punishing the people. I think they actually said they were beating the people, but they were punishing the people if they weren't wailing enough in front of the memorial or whatever. You have to celebrate. You have to do this. Yay, everyone's got to participate in this mourning thing, even if the man was a wicked person. But see, we have to celebrate what I want to do and what I'm doing. The Bible talks about those little immature people. They're on they're on the walls. We played for you and you haven't danced. We've sang and you haven't rejoiced. Come on. Why aren't you playing? Why aren't you celebrating with us? We fired people. We made people lose their jobs. And now, why aren't you celebrating that now we got the numbers we wanted? This is not funny. But see, they don't want to celebrate your freedom. They don't want to celebrate you. When you want to do something that's wonderful, they're, oh, no, we can't. We can't have an activity scene. No, we can't. No. You celebrate, it's interesting. So, that's the same thing stupid when it comes to meat. If someone doesn't want to eat meat, you don't force, you don't get in front of them, sit down in front of them. You don't do that in front of somebody who doesn't want to eat meat. But then let's reverse it. You know, you don't have to put up with they don't want to eat meat, but they have to tolerate you eating meat in front of them. They have to accept your shirts with meat on it. Yeah, meat, your shirts with meat on it. You know, a picture of a hamburger. It makes them nauseous or whatever. And then they have to celebrate. You have a party for meat. You have a party about pig and cow, you know, and the fish of the sea and stuff, like all these living creatures that you've been able to hunt and stuff. And then you have to make them, they have to come and celebrate with you and be happy for you and think that, oh, it's needful. Well, God told us we can eat meat, but imagine how that's the other hidden one is where it's like they think that you have to actually fully accept all this, and then it's like, well, it's important that we need to have this stuff. And that's what wicked people actually do. Now listen, it boils down to, I don't have to agree, tolerate, accept, or celebrate you because it's all about me. That is me culture. Without God to establish society, without societal rules, without the actual group. Now listen, society also, I'll add this, is not one person dictating policy, one human dictating policy to everybody, one group dictating policy to everybody and making them live. You've seen those movies where they set up the rules for the people's lives and everybody's living identical lives and stuff like that because they need peace, law, and order and mess like that. Peace, law, and order is not done by people, they just want everything quiet. There are people who have, you know, strict houses, strict rules, and nothing's happening. And it's like, oh, look how peaceful that is. But you know, those children are messed up. Those employees are messed up. They're not happy. But it comes to all about you. It comes down to, you know, the individual. Without God, without society, the individual takes over, and the individual doesn't care. That's why we ended up with, you know, evil dictators, where the people are afraid they can't even disagree with the person. In fact, I'll end with this. I remember there was a famous singer that they said people who disagreed with that person did not stay around long enough. Now you need to have counselors, you need to have people with you that walk in wisdom. But see, when it comes to me culture, it changes to where I don't need you telling me I don't need to do that. You know, some people won't allow their assistant to tell them they need to get rest. They need to turn off their phone. You need to turn off your phone. It's 4 o'clock in the morning. We got to do something at 9. You need to get some rest before we do this thing at 9, and then you can take a nap in the evening. But you know, they're mad. It's all about them. Their person's trying to give them help, and they don't need it. Also, just like a business person who owns a business, we need money. We want to have more hours. We want to have more revenue during this season. So we'll just, you know, extend our hours. We'll change our hours. They're concerned about they're making money in the business. They're not concerned about the employee. This is how, so that's why me culture eliminates society. They'll talk about and pretend, but it's still about the individual person. Oh, he wants to dress, you know, he wants to come to school dressed like a Shiraka ketchup bottle. Well, that distracts the students. But since he wants to dress like a Shiraka ketchup bottle, we need to let him dress like a Shiraka ketchup bottle. We have to let him do what actually that is. It actually disrupts society, disturbing the peace. That's why you have to have God involved so you know which laws to make, which ones not to make. I love you. Live, move, be.